Hey Internet, Highway 47 here, and this is Dracofunk, and we are continuing with my reusable space program in Kerbal Space Program. This is episode 11. Now, we have made great strides in continuing this reusable program, and that means we need to go back to the mining ship. Because in order to keep this space program reusable, we need to be able to refuel everything that's in orbit. And that means mining for ore and making fuel from the moon. And this is the large mining craft. If you've seen in some of our earlier episodes, I built a smaller mining craft, and it made 10 separate mining runs to the moon and back to the station. And while it was putting fuel in the tank, it just wasn't efficient. So I built this to carry a lot of fuel and bring it back to the station. And I am just making sure right now as I'm landing that I'm orienting the craft in the correct way so I don't make the mistake I made last time and take off and fly into the wrong direction of orbit. And I'm just bringing it down now, making a safe landing on the surface. With that last mining craft, I actually got a lot of practice landing. And just making sure there we go. I'm going to spare you the boring parts of mining, which is a lot of time accelerating while the drills drill and we convert fuel and the drills drill, and we just keep doing that. If you look, we've been on the moon for about 25 days. I am launching back up to the moon station now. Before I do that, I'm going to get into about a 50-kilometer orbit and then do the rendezvous maneuvers there. The moon station is at a 30-kilometer orbit. And in order to do the rendezvous, it helps to be actually in a higher orbit than the craft you are rendezvousing with. And while I could also do it from a lower orbit, getting in a lower orbit is just a little bit more finicky than being in a higher orbit. And here, now, speaking of higher orbits, this is a SPIMP booster. I have about 4 of them that are in orbit around Kerbin that have brought various pieces of hardware, station parts, and possibly even some of the spaceships. I don't remember what this particular booster brought up, but it has been hanging out in orbit for a while, and it's time to bring it down. So part of the goal of this whole space program is that everything either goes up and stays in space or comes back down and is able to be recovered. And I have mostly succeeded in this. I have unfortunately, I think I've lost 2 of these boosters. And that's due to running out of electricity and not being able to open the parachutes. I redesigned them. They have extra batteries so they can land in the dark. They do have photovoltaic panels so they can recharge in the sunlight, but I was having problems where they would run out of power in the dark and I wouldn't be able to control them, and that meant not being able to open the parachutes, so they just crashed and exploded. So I have lost, I think, 2 of them. This is another one coming down. The last one I managed to land on solid ground. This one's going to land in the water and splash down. That's okay. For some reason, I think it's a good idea to open the landing gear. I realize that is pointless, and I will bring the landing gear back up. This is booster number 3. It will also make a water landing, and sorry about it being in the dark. A lot of things tend to happen in the dark, but again, that's part of being in space. Space is dark. Ah, here's one in the light. I was really trying hard to make this one get to land, but it just wasn't going to happen. As you can see, there are the parachutes deploying, and I'm going to 4 times speed it up right until landing time. All in all, to bring those 4 boosters down, it took about half an hour in real time. And it's not the most fun thing I can do in this game, but I think it's important to demonstrate that I am trying to make everything reusable and bring the boosters down. I haven't actually recovered any boosters. We're going to pretend like the Kerbin Navy and Air Force are able to do that. Maybe next episode I'll go in and recover all of them. I think I have about, I don't know, there's probably over 10 somewhere scattered all around the equator of Kerbin. And we're back to the mining craft. It has rendezvoused with Columbia Station in orbit of the moon. As you can see, we're roughly in the this is a 32 kilometer height right now. I am docking this manually, and of course it is in the dark. Just trying to get the craft to touch that in docking port. And there we go. Nope, no, wait. There, oh, no. It's like right there, come on. Yeah, there, what, well, no. A little more. No. Oh, come on. It's right there. Right there. You can dock with it. Right there. Really? Tried shutting off the SAS and RCS. That didn't work. Okay. What do I got to do to get these to dock? Oh, there it goes. All right. And now that everything's docked, I get to do the exciting thing. Except I'm going to time accelerate so I can get this in the light so I can actually see what I'm doing. And that is transfer fuel. First thing I'm going to do is refill these top fuel tanks because that gives the craft enough fuel to land back on the lunar surface. But once those are full, all that extra fuel is perfectly fine being sent somewhere else. In fact, I need to get as much of that off as I can. Now, here's the space bus. In episode 10, it collected this ore tank from Enterprise Station in orbit of Kerbin, and it is going to dock it to the side of Columbia Station, opposite where that orange tank is. And Phony and Shanmund are tired. And if it ends up being in the dark, guys, you're going to have to forgive me. I'm just going to use the docking autopilot because I'm really tired at this point. And it's fine. The sun's going down. It's going to be in the dark. As you can see, we're about 7 kilometers away from the station. Using the rendezvous planner, I am not using the autopilot to fly. This is all manual flying. I will go ahead and use the docking computer just because it's in the dark and this is a delicate operation, and the docking autopilot, you know, it'll be better to get in those tight spots than me mucking around. And I just need to get a little bit closer because it's in the dark. I can't even see the docking port that I want to find. Getting just a little bit closer. I've transferred. I'm now controlling the craft from the back. So it's as if I was flying from the docking port. Makes it just a little bit easier. And I just need to get a little bit closer. Once I can see that docking port to target it, I can flip over and let the computer take the wheel and just sit back and relax. Shanman and Phony don't have to worry about anything. Right, guys? They look excited. Especially Shanman. Yeah. Almost. Here we go. Docking autopilot engaged. And... oh, that didn't go well. Let's try again. Come on. What? Okay, autopilot, you're letting me down. Oh, come on, come on. All right, we got it this time. Cinematic mode. And what? Wait. Whoa, no. Okay. Docking autopilot was not a good idea. I am going to spare you the next 30 minutes that I spent getting everything set up for this maneuver. I am beyond frustrated. I am in complete manual control now, trying to get the space bus to slide into the correct position to get this docked. I am flying by the nav ball, trying to keep the ship oriented by sight and lined up by using the nav ball. And there we go. No. Okay. Just back it up. I only really meant to spend maybe 5 minutes getting this docked to the station. I did not think it would take this long. The docking autopilot completely failed me. I am finally got it all under manual control. I just quickly refueled the space bus and I got to send it back to Kerbin because I need to get... it's going to pick up another small orange tank like the one that's already there. I have not launched that yet. I'll do that here in just a couple moments. But I'm going to go ahead and send the space bus back to Kerbin orbit and get it rendezvoused with Enterprise Station. And there we go. Set it for a 200-kilometer orbit. Now, here is the space tanker. It has made its way to Columbia Station. Just missed the space bus. Right now, I'm trying to decide where I'm going to dock it, because normally I dock the space tanker at the end of the station, but the mining ship is there right now. Actually, that's a good idea. I'll just dock it to the back of the mining ship. And I'll just switch over to cinematic mode. I really like the cinematics, especially when it's coming into this industrial looking, the mining ship, the space tanker, right on the end of the space station. And there, as you can see, the moon station with the 2 ships, plus the mining ship and the space tanker, 4 ships in all, the passenger mod, the ore tank, the liquid oxygen tank. And here is the best part, fuel transferring. And now I need to refuel the space tanker so it can continue its mission. I don't know why I'm only doing one side. Now, on each side of the space tanker, there are 7 fuel tanks. I really wish that I had a better tank layout for these instead of 7 per side, which means there are 14 tanks that hold 400 units of fuel. I'm just going to tell you what I did. I ended up trying to get these all filled. I didn't have quite enough to fill them up completely, but I had plenty to get them. They have enough fuel. It's going to have enough fuel to fly to Kerbin, drop all the fuel in the orange tank off, and then fly back, no problem. I ended up filling 6 on each side, and right now I'm setting course back for low Kerbin orbit, and it'll rendezvous with the station just after the space bus, probably. And here's the space bus already back at Kerbin, and it's getting itself into a circular orbit. The space tanker will be there shortly after this, and will also establish itself in low Kerbin orbit. I'm getting into about a 200 kilometer orbit. The space station, Enterprise station in orbit of Kerbin, is at about a 75 kilometer. My friend Shaggy B says I'm pretty brave for giving it that low of an orbit, and he's right. I am keeping an eye on it. As things come and go, its orbit moves around just a little bit. I think currently it's at a 74 kilometer perigee and a 76 kilometer apogee orbit, roughly around the equator. It makes it easy for things that I'm launching into orbit to be able to rendezvous with it if I'm really good, and done this maybe once. I can launch directly towards the station without having to do a transfer orbit. And here's the space bus coming in the dock. Right now, they are Phony and Shanmund are completely against using the docking computer. They are completely against it, so they're all about the manual docking. And of course, I'm docking in the dark. I am using the nav ball to fly and eyeballing my orientation. If I keep that directional dot above where I want, it'll eventually put me right where I need to be. Once I get pretty much right there, I just kill my velocity in that direction and head straight up. And these are pretty tight quarters. There we go. And here is the tanker making its way to dock with the space station. I love these cinematic views. Now, this is the docking port where the SSTO also docks. And I do have one on each side, so it is possible for the SSTO and the space tanker both to be there. I am going to, as soon as it's docked, transfer all the fuel from the orange tank on the back of the space tanker into one of those big orange tanks. I got about 3 or 4 more trips like this to fill those both up. Now, I am going to actually leave the tank that's on the front of the tanker here. And if you look on the bottom of the space station next to the space bus, there is an RCS tank. And I'm going to use the space tanker to deliver that tank to the moon station. I was originally going to have Jebediah do that, with the ore tank on the back of the Liberator, but due to our fuel issue and the fact that the small mining craft just wasn't cutting it, and I kind of backed everything up, Jebediah had to run down to the planet and complete a mission with the Highway 47 crew. If you didn't see the North Pole Expedition, the episode that came out just before this one, go ahead and watch it. Vomit and Shaggy join me as Jebediah flies the entire Highway 47 crew in Kerbal form to the North Pole. Or does he? Do we make it? You'll have to watch to find out. And here I'm just going to undock the RCS tank. Now the RCS tank there does have a probe core, so it's perfectly capable of controlling and flying itself. So I'm just going to have this fly out to the space tanker and dock on the front of it. And I will switch to cinematic mode here. And that is the RCS tank coming into the space tanker. Now, all the tanks on the space tanker, at least in the main section, the tank in front and the tank in back can both undock, and I can put different size tanks or even different kinds of tanks on there. The space tanker itself is just the center unit with the utility can for 4 passengers that I keep forgetting to disembark to the moon, and the landing can, which is acting as the bridge portion. Here is that liquid oxygen tank that I'm going to take up to the moon. And here it is circularizing. All I need to do now is send Bill out in the Ares craft to come pick up this tank and put it on the end of the space bus. Now, I haven't decided if the space bus is going to wait for the next travelers or just go ahead and run the tank up to Columbia Station. Probably should just run the tank. Now, the tank itself doesn't have any control units or probe cores on it, but the booster does. So I'm going to orient the tank in the correct direction, and then the booster is going to disconnect and basically fly out of the way of the Ares craft. And I'll go ahead and land the booster in the next episode. I've already done 4 this episode. We're going to flip around just so the large docking port is connecting, because the space bus only has the small docking ports. So I'll keep that open. And here we are flying it back to Enterprise Station. And station is a little bit sideways, but that's okay. I'm bringing it in manually, just overshoot a little bit, and now point that docking port right back up to the space bus. And this is all done at 4 times normal. A little sideways. Let's see if I can get it to, there we go. And now to redock the Ares craft back up to the space station. There we go. Now, I didn't forget about it. This is the first real new thing, non-routine, that we've done this episode. And that is the moon colony. So episode 10, I launched this colony up. It has a pilot plus 4 Kerbins in that center unit. And it's going to land on the moon and be a colony. And I'm trying to bring it to a complete stop because they're right below us. It's relatively flat. I have to be careful because I don't want to land on the lip of one of those craters, which if I go straight down right now, looks what's going to happen. So I'm going to fly over this direction just a little bit. There, bring down those solar panels. I'm going to watch my delta V. I got plenty of delta V, but I just want to make sure. So I'm going to leave the throttle on just a little bit, and as you can see, my delta V is going down, but I have plenty. I'm not going to run out anytime soon. Deploy the landing gear. Just watch my speed. 600 meters. 400 meters. Watching my speed. 200 meters. Now, I can't cut my speed off too much or I end up not landing. 100 meters. Just be careful. Watch that speed. 50 meters. 30 meters. See right there. Just gotta watch your speed. And oof, a little bit harder than I wanted, but that's okay. Nothing broke. Well now, Munzer, I need to bring you down and get you out of that pilot seat. I'm not going to do that right now. Let's bring out the solar panels and let's get Magfell out there to plant a flag. First, I have 4 ladders to extend. Let's see, just purge some gas from the RCS system. Extend all the ladders. That way I don't have to worry about that. And 3 on the front, and then there is 1 in the back. Don't ever forget about that 1 in the back. There we go. And Magfell, let's get you out here, EVA. Even though I've already done, let's see, we did 10 landing with the small lander and 2 landings with the large mine. Oh my gosh, this means this is the 13th landing on the moon. Well, that bodes well for this whole mission. Well, there is Magfell on the surface of the moon. First Kerbin, at least in this save, on the moon. And she's out here. She's going to plant a flag for us. There we go. Oof. And what? Why is the flag backwards? I don't understand why the flag's backwards. Why is the flag backwards? We come here to live and eat snacks. Perfect. But why is the flag backwards? Does anybody know why the flag's backwards? If you know why the flag's backwards, post it in the comments. They're not backwards on anything else. Look on her backpack. Oh yeah, just climb a flag. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, if you look, the 47 right there on the side, it's not backwards. Oof. Yeah, you can jump really far on the moon. And rocket pack. Oh, head right into the ground. Well, I need a name for this moon colony. So if you would like, leave a comment. And I may use your suggestion and name the colony that. If I don't like it, I probably won't. Nothing crazy, dirty, you know. You know. And hey, you know, like and subscribe and all that stuff. And, Moonzer, you got a nice view, but I probably should bring you down and put you in one of those nice little utility cans so you're not living in a cockpit. Well, that's it for this episode. I don't know why the flag's backwards. Thank you guys, and stay tuned, and we'll do some more stuff. Thank you guys. Good night.